Hey guys, it's Darius from Justice League Swag here, back with another deck profile. This time we're doing the new Kaizerion support with King Kaizerion. Justin, take it away.
Alright, so this is my King Kaizerion deck build. The buddy is King Kaizerion just because of the rides that I'm running. I didn't want a buddy, and more than likely for winning games, I always want to go into this card. So this is the buddy. Made more sense to me. There's nothing else in the deck I'm like maxing or that I would want to buddy. So starting with my size 0 lineup. I'm running 4 Cybird. Cybird used to be like one of the win conditions of the deck, but now it also serves as a scare tactic. Because once your opponent sees this card, they're not going to try to life break you in order to let you get this double attack off. Because I actually had one match against Battle Poets where usually a Battle Poet player will swing for like 4 or 5 their first turn just because it's free if they discard the size 0 reporting. But against me, he just swung for 2 because he didn't want to life break me and let Cybird be live and me possibly kill him right away. So Cybird's really good, but you don't have to life break anymore in order to win with this deck. Next up, size 1 lineup. Just 3 Tiger Thrusts. 3 because you want the penetrate in some matchups. If you're playing against anything with movers, it's annoying because you definitely want to deal as much damage as fast as possible because this is an attrition deck. Plus, this guy can also swing at your opponent. So it's pretty good in 2 standards. Lastly, for my ones, I'm running 2 Cyber Police Scumbag. This is just because he's 6'1", so he can hit a lot of cards, and he lets you draw a card if he hits. The primary reason why I'm running this is because I needed more ones. I usually use either this, Tiger Thrust, or Cybird on the field when I want to do my Jackknife Kaizerion turns. So I can play... Shit, I can't even say the name of them. I don't want it because we use it. Kaizerion. If I use his skill to call out a Kaizerion, then my field is bare, so I can't also jackknife Kaizerion in the same turn. So running the extra size ones help with that respect. And then also with Stunbat, you could possibly draw into one of your impacts to finish your opponent. So next up, size 2 lineup. I'm running 3 Beast Deity Alphazian. As I said before, he's your go-to guy to get out King Kaizerion without paying his ride cost of paying 2 gauge and calling over it. And you can counter call it during battle. So since this is a counter, you can also counter and use this abilities during your opponent's turn. And while this card is in the soul of a card on your field, it gives it counterattack, which is really good to clean off weaklings that are just below Kaizerion's defense, so your opponent isn't as able to hit your 7k butt. So 3, I was running him at 4, but it was too cloggy. Like I really needed to see other cards, so I dropped them down. Next up for 2s, I am running 3 Gear Drake. I gotta finish foiling those out. But gives your item a crit. So if you're on Kaizerion, Kaizerion is now the 4 crit monster. And it cannot be destroyed, while Gear Drake has soul. If you're on King Kaizerion is a 4 crit monster and cannot be destroyed, while this card has soul. So this is pretty good for pressure as well as protecting yourself because he has soul guard for 2. So a lot of times if I don't draw a negate, I'll call Gear Drake over a lot of other 2s. So lastly, for my 2 lineup, I'm running 3 Takosuke. This guy is pretty good in a lot of games I won by riding into him using his ability. To check what's in my opponent's hand, that's the primary focus of it. You just say monster or spell. If you get it right, you gain a life. If they have 2 or more of that said card, you also draw a card. So pretty much a lot of my games I've survived at exactly 1 life just because of this guy's skill. It really helps you get there as far as damage goes. And I'm running him because he's a ride that has double attack. So he gives you life, lets you check to see what's in your opponent's hand to see if you can kill them. And he goes well with the deck, especially with Alphazian skill, because you can still put it into the soul and then ride a King Kaizerion on top of this. So good card is good. Next up, for Kaizerion, because his name is Kaizerion and he also goes with Alphazian skill, I'm maxing him. Plus, he also has the ability of like Soul Guard and getting back something from the drop zone. So if I start with an extra Cybird, I could toss it into Gauge, pay that Gauge, and then put the Cybird from drop zone into Kaizerion Soul. So, base Kaizerion's pretty great. Lastly, for size 3s, the Buddy. Speaks for itself. Cheap card, but really good. 3 cards in soul, your opponent can't negate the attack, so it makes finishing your opponent with a lot of the impacts pretty easy. And then you can ride it during the battle phase. That's what makes this card like really strong. And if you have a Tiger Thrust in soul, this will also have penetrate. Then if you have the Cybird and Soul, after you ride this, your next turn, if your opponent survives, you can use Cybird's ability if your life broken and give this double attack, and your opponent can't use negates against it. So, solid card. Soul can't be removed, can't be rested. Lastly, well, no, I'll just do those later. Spell lineup. I am running 3 prepped and okay to launch. Running 3 of these because you ride a lot and you'll ride at least twice a game. So it's alright if you draw it well, it's really good if you draw it early, and then it's still pretty decent if you draw it late. Just because you'll still get the 2 draw off if you counter ride over it once. But this ability is only once per turn, is why I'm running it at 3. But so if I set prep, then okay, I will play like Takosuke and ride over Kaizerion, the regular base form, and then draw 2. And then next turn I'll set the next prep, then okay, and then counter ride into King Kaizerion and draw another 2. So it just helps you from losing hand, which is a huge issue with Kaizerion, because you have to main so many cards like Hyper Energy, for example. You have to play this card. The more you play this card, the more you win. 4 of staple. Next up for spells, I am running 4. I've seen 3 moves. You could run this card, or you could run your 100,000 years too early. I like this card because it can protect my guys as well as myself. So depending on what my hand is, I may want to protect my monsters instead of protecting just myself. That's why I'm not running 100,000 years too early. Call Super Machine, staple 4 of. You can search for any of your pieces to finish off your opponent. Cybird, Hyper Energy, Kaizerion, King Kaizerion, Alphazian, Tiger Thrust if you need penetrate. So there's no reason why you shouldn't max that. Then only 2 Body of Steel. Only 2 because a lot of cards swing way above like Kaizerion's defense. So this isn't as useful as it used to be, just because like Asmodees have like 50k power, then they have so many other monsters with like 15k power. Body of Steel isn't doing anything to anything like that with freaking double attack and 10k defense. So you get off the counter attack, but it's like you're still taking the damage and it could cause you to lose. So I'm running it at 2, and then also by running it at 2, your opponent really doesn't know how many you're running when you run a lot of 2-ofs. So they'll try to play over the Body of Steel and probably run into one of your negates or the damage reducers. So next for damage reducing, I just run 2 Powered Body. This goes really good with Alphazian and Kaizerion, because if your opponent swings at you and you're at 6 life or less, you can reduce the damage, and then you're technically still being attacked. So the damage is reduced, but Kaizerion's counterattack still goes off with Alphazian and Soul. So that's why I'm running that too. It's a gauge and a life if you're at 2 or... Well, no, if you're at 7 or higher. But you can also use this card during your opponent's turn if you don't want to take the damage and you want to life break yourself. If you have an abundance of gauge, you could go, okay, well, I don't want to take all your attack damage, but I'm going to pay a gauge and a life to reduce the damage. So then it sets you up for Cyber next turn. Cyber is so good. Lastly, impact monsters. I'm just running 2 Jackknife Kaizerion. Good finisher is good finisher. The only reason why I'm running 2 is because you can search it out when you need it. Most times you don't need it early game. So if I have my hyper energy, then I'll search it. Because letting your opponent know that you have it kind of doesn't matter. It didn't matter in a lot of my matchups. They would just try to negate it. Then lastly, for impacts, Brave Energy Full Drive, because why not? Usually with King Kaizerion, you have so much soul, it doesn't matter. So this is going to deal the 2 plus 1 for every card in your soul. So if your opponent's at 5, guess what? You just cheese to win. It's not much that your opponent can do if you Jackknife Kaizerion and Brave Full Energy in the same turn. Because Jackknife Kaizerion just stands up your item to swing again. So that's it for my deck profile on King Kaizerion. Please like and subscribe, and we'll have more deck profiles coming up shortly. Peace.